Hello, this is Nelson Wagner with Hagerman & Company. Today we're going to take a look at iParts. iParts are pretty simple, but they really intimidate some people. So we're going to go through and just kind of show you how to set up an iPart. First thing, same thing with any part, you start with your basic part shape. We're going to go in and put in our part shape. Now what you want to do on these parameters that you put in is rename these as you put them in. Any parameters that we rename will automatically be brought over when we do our iPart. So that's why it's important to rename these parts as you put them in. Not parts. Rename these parameters as you put them in. So each one of these parameters that we put in, any of them that are critical to my part changing in my iParts, my different iterations, we're going to rename those as we go. So as we put these dimensions in, real convenient to use the on-screen renaming. You don't have to go into your Manage tab and into the parameters. I can actually rename these as I put them in. So that makes it really easy and really convenient. So we're going to rename each one of those as we put this in. And again, when we do our iPart then, what you'll see is anything that we renamed automatically comes over and assumes that you're going to use that parameter in your different iterations for your iParts. So let's get our shapes in. We're going to set those to equal so I can use one parameter for both of those. You also notice that the diameter of that is based on the other diameter, so we put in a formula. We're going to reset that to 0, 0 just to give us a nice base point. So there's our shape with the parameters that we've renamed. Now what we're going to do is just go in and extrude that. Now you can also rename these parameters as you put them in. So with extrude, we can actually put in a thickness, rename that to thickness and make that parameter equal thickness as we put it in there. So all this can be renamed as you go. So we've got our parameters in, we've got our shape. Next thing we're going to do is create our iPart. You go to the Manage tab and there's a Create iPart. Brings up a little dialog box. You'll notice all those parameters that we renamed came over automatically. You can get to any of the others too, but automatically it brings over anything that was renamed. These key values, that's when we set up our table, those key values will show up, and I'll show you that a little bit later, how that is affected. We're just going to add rows then, so insert rows for all the new rows. If I go into options, you can see I can also set up how I do my dash numbers. Now we're just going to go in and do our different iterations for width. So basically what we're doing is pre-setting up the different parts and the different iterations of these parts. So we're going to change the width and the thickness as this part gets larger. Now instead of using these dash numbers, we can go in and preset how that works. We can also just type in our own part numbers in there if we want to. In this case, we're going to just do our own dash numbers. And we can do that for the member, which is what gets put into your table, or we can also redo the part numbers. So we're going to make these match. We're going to redo the members and the part numbers here. Make all these match up. And again, this could be a random part number. If you just have system part numbers that you want to put in there, you can do that as well. We hit OK. Well, first thing I want to do is show you the different tabs that we've got in here. We can get to a lot of different things. So these iParts can get pretty complex. We're just going to show a simple one today, so I'm just going to hit OK, be done with that. And what you'll notice once this pops up, you'll see a little table icon in the upper corner. Let's go ahead and save this. Let's call it iPart. Once this is saved, then we can expand our table and take a look at our different parts that we have in here. And right now we've got it showing for the different part numbers or the different members. So in this table we can pick each iteration, whichever one that we want. Now I can also change this view to show the key values. Let's go back to our original. And if I right click on that, I can choose to show the keys. And that's where those key values come in. I can now expand. So the first key number is the main one, secondary key number is the second one. So I can show those either way that I want. We're going to go back to just the member view. You can see each member. Now I can also edit this via spreadsheet. So if I go edit table, it just opens the table back up the way that we're used to seeing it, and I can make any changes that I want to. But if I have a lot of iterations, maybe 1,000, maybe I want to use a spreadsheet, I can use the copy paste and all the function keys to get all those iterations in there. It makes it a little easier for large numbers of iterations. Next thing we're going to do is just open up an assembly, and we're going to insert that iPart into the assembly. When you insert an iPart, it automatically knows that that's an iPart, and so we're going to put that in. Brings up, we're going to go to the table view and just pick which one we want, and we can stick any number of those in there that we want to. So it makes it really easy. One model, 4 different iterations, we can choose the one that we want to put in there. Close that out, and there's all the 4 different iterations. Now, let's say one of those we chose was incorrect. We can actually go into those then and change the member that we want to change. So we can pick one of those, we can expand it, go down to the table, and we can actually change component right from the table. We can just go out here, choose a different one of our iterations, and that changes that part. Really easy to swap those out. So that's it for iParts. You can see, pretty simple. Hopefully this helped and helped explain it, and you'll start making iParts.